All right, this is Sports for Real with Coach Hall on this freezing morning down here in Jacksonville. Um, I think in my area it got as low as like 29, and this is the first real cold of the year. And I know you guys up in Michigan and places like that, you laugh at 33 degrees. That might even be shorts weather in Alaska. But down here is a major problem. Damn computers are slow. They don't even want to work this morning. And being in the schoolhouse, I noticed a trend. A lot of times when it gets cold, kids don't want to show up. Again, I know it's soft when you start looking at real cold places. But down here, when the weather shifts so drastically, it's 30 today. 2 days from now, it might be 75. And I know next week is probably definitely going to be 75 or 80. So that's a good thing about it. When we do get it, we endure it. It's a flash in the pan. Then all of a sudden, it gets hot again. And it's a back and forth loop all the way into when the weather changes for good and stays hot for a while. So we know how to deal with it down here. Langston Terrace, Grand Rising. I don't know what that means. Yeah, I had to go see the butcher yesterday, and uh, that's why my face might be a little swollen, but no, I'm all right. Also part of old age, which I don't even be bothered with. But let's talk about this guy, Nico Harrison. They say timing is everything, and timing just didn't work out for old Nico. The Mavericks pulled the plug on him yesterday after a 3-8 start. And the problem with the 3-8 start is that the Lakers, they started out 8-3. And the player that they traded for from last year, Luka Doncic, he's averaging about 35, 36 points a game. So when you look at that and then you look at what you traded for, you're not getting much value out of it because they're always hurt. And then you lose Kyrie Irving, a major piece back in February, and things just hasn't gone. Matter of fact, when Davis first got there, he started out red hot. Then all of a sudden he got hurt. And from that point forward, things have just been downhill. The people in the stands are shouting, fire Nico, fire Nico. Now you fire Nico. You get your wish. Now what? I think the moves the man made was actually pretty good. It's just that the timing ultimately didn't work out in his favor. Nico, Luka, he wasn't in the best shape. And I think that's the biggest problem that he had there in Dallas. That the guy just wasn't going to put in the work. And because he wasn't going to put in the work, it was just going to be a point where production was just going to drop. And then once he started getting hurt, that's what it was going to be like. But my question with the whole thing was, why trade for a guy like Anthony Davis? You talking about worried about injuries? This guy here is an injury king. And lo and behold, as soon as you get him, what happens? He gets hurt. And I knew it was just a matter of time before they finally got rid of him. It was an unpopular move, but a lot of times you have to take a chance to be great. And had it worked out, you'd have been saying how great a move this was for Collins. But a guy that's 25, I think I'd rather keep him as opposed to a guy that's 31 that's already got a history of being injured all the time. So that's the only questionable thing that I had about the whole deal. But now you see it's come back to bite him full force. So the question is, where will the Mavericks turn next? You got some good pieces in place, but you got to get them on the court. And if you can get them on the court, you're going to be all right. But by the time you get them all on the court, will you be too far out of the race to make a difference? And the season seemed like it just started. And they're already 11 games in. It's going to be over with before you know it. So I just don't see the Mavericks doing very much this year. And new owners, they feel like they can just go ahead and turn it over and start afresh. And that's pretty much what they're going to have to do. Question is, what are you going to do with Anthony Davis? Are you going to keep Kyrie? What will the Mavericks do? I don't even think they know. I think it's just more of a knee-jerk reaction. Let's get rid of this guy now. It's kind of the same thing that went down with LSU. This owner got caught telling the fans that he thought the trade was a mistake. And that's catamount to saying that the governor of Louisiana telling the AD that he's not going to hire the next football coach. Hell, that's the main duties of his job, to hire coaches, and you tell him he can't do his job. It was just a matter of time before he was going to be gone. Same thing in this situation. Once that was caught on tape, the next day the man fired him. So it's whatever. If you don't want me, let me be gone. I'll go find me another gig somewhere else, and we'll put together a team. And the main target of that is going to be to destroy you. You don't want me there? Okay, fine. I'll be back in a way that you probably not going to like. And we'll see just what Nico does. Now, those other two guys that got on the bullseye, Stefanski is obvious. He's got quarterback problems in Cleveland. And Gabriel, he's not really taking any threats downfield. He's going to take the safe throw. And you can't really threaten a defense a whole lot when you only playing a certain kind of way. And eventually, he's going to have to try another way. And everybody wants to see what Shedeur Sanders look like. And his time is not far away. So people think that Stefanski has something against Sanders. That's why he's keeping Gabriel out there, because Gabriel is not doing so good. But he feels like he's playing well enough that he can continue his maturation as a quarterback. They think he has something against Sanders. Whether he does or not, I don't know. All I do know is these guys have been in camp together. They've been practicing together. They've been around each other. And you as a coach, you pretty much know what you got. Now, that's not to say that if Sanders got out there, he wouldn't light it up. Maybe he would. Perhaps he won't. But we won't know that until we actually get a chance to see him. But at some point before the season ends, he's going to be out there. And I would say won't be another game or two before we see Stefanski. Stefanski, but Sanders. So we'll get a chance to see what he looks like. And on the flip side of that, the fly in the ointment, like I've been telling you all year long, is that Deshaun Watson. He's got that really big contract. He's at the point of where he's ready to return. You've already gotten rid of Flacco. You got rid of Kenny Pickett before the season started. So the log jam is easing. Only thing that's left now are the two rookie quarterbacks that are ahead of him. And the other guy that was there last year, I forget his name. He was on the practice squad and they moved him up. Well, Bailey Zappi. He's not going to be the bigger quarterback over Deshaun Watson. He doesn't have the bigger salary. So if Watson is cleared and these two guys haven't grabbed hold of the starting position, then you just got to know that at some point Watson's going to come off the bench and he's going to come out there and he's going to play well. And then the fans are going to be more upset with him because he got hurt. And the ownership won't care because they get some value out of what they're paying Watson. And come next year, if he's still on the roster, which I think he would be because he's going to play well enough, he's going to win the damn job. And then what are the Browns fans going to do then? I have no idea. All right. I got some different people on here today. Appreciate you dropping in. I'm asking the question, do you think that the Mavs should have fired Nico? Most of you are saying no, surprisingly. I'd like to know from some of you, why would you not fire Nico, given the fact that he traded away a franchise cornerstone and he's getting minimal returns at this point for it. If Davis is able to somehow recover and don't get any more injuries, he can be very productive as a player. So he can't stay on the court. Kyrie Irving, he got hurt. I mean, if these guys could have stayed well, they could have done pretty well. Now, before all this happened, the year before, this guy here, Collins, he made bold trades that worked out for him, and they ended up playing for a championship. But that was with Doncic. Davis, he's not well enough to take anybody on his shoulders and move them along. Now, it kind of reminds me of what the Cavs had a couple years ago. If they had kept LeBron with Kyrie, they could have had a much longer run in Cleveland. But Kyrie wanted to be his own guy, get away from the shadow of LeBron and do it himself. I wonder if Davis, he thinks he can do it himself away from the shadow of LeBron. Well, we won't know that because he can't never stay healthy enough to do it. And LeBron, I'd like to know how he's going to function when he's not the clear number one player anymore. Younger players taking over. LeBron, I don't know how much longer he wants to play. Why do you need to continue to play? You've done everything. Unless you're just trying to show everybody that you are the most durable player ever in the history of the NBA. Maybe that's it. I don't know. But what he has to prove, not a whole lot. and it'd be interesting to see just what he does. JC, how you doing, man? You came in right at the time of transition. Um, I got a little bullseye targets out there. They fired Nico Collins and Harrison in Miami, and Stefanski, he's on the bullseye list, and also on the list is Mike Tomlin. I seen reports yesterday where they're talking about maybe that the owners of the Jets will accept a trade for a head coach. In other words, ship Tomlin to the Jets for whatever compensation they may come up with. Um, it's not unheard of. It's happened before, but the reason why you would probably want to do that is because Tomlin's been in Pittsburgh so long, and his message got to be real thin to the people in Pittsburgh, especially since he hadn't won a playoff game in a long time. So it would be a fresh start for him to get away. It'd be a fresh start for the people with the Steelers, and it wouldn't be a bad idea, for him to possibly move on. At this point, he's been in Pittsburgh longer than what, right about the time Chuck Noll was in Pittsburgh. Let me see. He started in '69, and I think he gave it up in like 90, 91, something like that. So I think Noll had like 21, 22 seasons. So he hadn't been quite as long as Noll. But hell, by the time Noll got finished, it was time for him to move on. I mean, he was in the same malaise as Tomlin is in. Now, Tomlin still got a good football team. He's made some good moves. But the question is, what kind of adjustments are you going to make after what the Chargers showed you the other night? You got to show up that offensive line, and you got to run the football. If you're not going to run the football and you can't protect the quarterback, then Pittsburgh can't play, especially with a quarterback who started to look old the other night when the rush started to get to him. And that cannot continue. And then with Baltimore, everybody's champion. Everybody wants the Ravens to win the division, and they just want to anoint them, even though they got a lot of holes themselves. Even though they won the last couple of games, people think all their problems suddenly went away because you got some people healthy. Well, from what I can see, they can't stop the run. And even though they beat the Vikings the other day, that rookie quarterback still played pretty well against them. And it was a turnover difference. They come out of the Vikings come out of the halftime locker room from a damn opening a second half kick after giving up a score at the end of the first half. So you give up a score and you fumble the damn kickoff, and next thing you know, you had a lead, and now you're behind with a rookie quarterback, and that don't bode too well because even the Ravens can dial up enough pressure to confuse a rookie quarterback. And I know McCarthy is in his second year, but he missed the whole damn year for injury, so he's pretty much still a rookie. And the Ravens got the better of that. But what Miami showed you, they can't stop the run. It's just that Miami didn't stick to the run. What are the Ravens going to do when somebody sticks with the run like a Detroit? They're going to run it down their damn throat. And it's just a matter of time before the Ravens get re-exposed. And it's no different than anybody else. How you start with anything is the way you're going to finish. The Ravens defense started out terrible, and at some point it's going to be exposed. They're going to finish as a terrible defense. So all the good feelings everybody has for them right now, the day that this team dies for this season, you're going to hear it all again. Watch and see. All right, it's good. Lakers are playing good without LeBron. I hope LeBron doesn't mess up the flow when he gets back. Well, that's a good question. How will LeBron take it? Because normally, everywhere he goes, he's been the top dog. Does he have enough in him to step back and say, I'm going to let somebody else run this and let me win a championship that way? I don't know if his pride or ego will allow him to do that. But I don't see how much he can mess it up. I mean, maybe it takes some production away from Reeves, but I don't see how he can really damage this unless he's doing some stuff in the locker room that causes disruption. Now, I would say that the Lakers might look at this and ship him off somewhere. So, but then again, he don't have he got a no trade clause in there, so it'd be pretty safe from that. Jihad, where you been, man? Well, don't tell me because Baltimore is back, you back. I know a lot of people think Baltimore is back, but Baltimore is not going to do anything. They can't stop the run, man. You can't put fish grease on the defense and expect it to hold. It ain't going to hold. Eventually, somebody's going to bust right through that. Right now, since you come back, you hadn't played in a great team. Miami's struggling, and they're iffy, even though they just ran off the Bills. They'll come back next week and lose. And you just beat Minnesota with a rookie quarterback. Cordell Stewart signed with Lil Wayne and is looking to coach the Colorado State Rams. All right. What do you mean sign with Lil Wayne? Lil Wayne's a sports agent now. And Cordell went to CU, so I don't know why he would want to go to Colorado as a player. And I don't think that they will hire, if he doesn't have any coaching experience, I don't see him getting a Division I job right away. I mean, top tier Division I job right now. He's gonna have to go to one of these lower tier schools and show that he can do that before he goes to the next level. That's what Deion did. You see, Deshaun Jackson is doing pretty decent at Delaware State. Michael Vick is at Norfolk State. He's struggling a little bit. So Eddie George at Tennessee State, and a couple other guys out there trying to make their way in the coaching cycle. It's just a matter of sticking with it, building your programs up, but it's going to take time. You're not going to just say, I'm Cordell Stewart, I'm going to get into the coaching game. It don't work that way. But back to Jihad, I know Baltimore, they're all right. But I just don't think Baltimore is going to be able to hold up in the end. Offensively, Jackson is playing well. And if he continues to play well, then you can hear that MVP conversation again. But I don't see how you can win the MVP after missing a couple games. And, I know you have a value to your team, and you play a whole lot better when you're there. But at the same time, you can't discount other players from what they're doing. I don't like to get into the MVP conversation. I'm worried about who's going to play where in the playoffs, who's going to do what. And that's what I prefer to talk about as opposed to some individual player. All right. My Holy King, Baltimore would make it to the playoffs. Yeah, they will make it to the playoffs. And if you look at it, is it really a great feat now to make it to the playoffs? You got 32 teams, 16 on each side, and then they're taking 7 teams. And they're talking about expanding that. So you're taking damn near half the conference, make it to the playoffs. So you got to be really bad not to make it to the playoffs now. It's just like what's going on down here in high school. You have to fill a bracket some kind of way. So instead of just taking the district champion, let's just take the runner-ups and then get some other people by seedings, and we'll just fill it up. And the more playoff games we have, you figure people think, oh, my son's playing in the playoffs, let me go play. And you get full stadium, and then the association gets a cut of the gates, and everybody's happy because they're making money. But do they give a damn about who's the best team? No, they're trying to make some money. If you really gave a damn about who the best teams are, you got a district, you take your district champions, you put the district champion in the playoffs for other district champions, and they battle it out to see who's going to be the best. The other teams go on to basketball or wrestling or whatever else you do, but you ain't about to win those state championships. Not if you 4-6 or 3-7 like some of these teams that I see making the playoffs. It's just there. They're just a placeholder. They're there for somebody to make some money. And how dare I say people make money off the backs of kids? Well, that's what they're doing. They're making money off the backs of kids. If you really cared about who the best was, yes, let's have a playoffs. But your district champion need to play against my district champion. Everybody else need to go do something else. Go be an academic instead of just filling up brackets just to add spaces to the playoffs. That's what the NFL is doing. It's more logical to do it that way because it's a pro sports and they're trying to generate money. And then everybody always feel like they got a chance, they can still win it. Every now and then a team comes up out of nowhere to get hot at the right time and they'll run through from the bottom and they'll win the championship. Pittsburgh, they went from the 6th seed and went all the way through. That's happened 1 or 2 other times. But for the most part, that team that dominated most of the season and the team that's been right on their case, they're going to be for the championship game in the conference, and they're going to go into the Super Bowl from there. Everybody else, they're just placeholders. Somebody's got to play in the playoffs, man. And that's the only reason why teams like Baltimore, who can't stop anything, can be good enough to get to the playoffs. Because the league really is watered down. You got 32 teams, but if you go back to cut it down to late 2014 or 2018, where it stayed for a very long time, you will see a big difference. Because some of those players that are spread out and start in other places, they wouldn't be started. They'd be back up somewhere else. And then some of the players that really shouldn't be in the league, they wouldn't be playing at all. So it makes a difference with the number of teams that you have in the league. But if you're fortunate enough to eke out a professional contract under that situation, hey, more power to you, pal. But are you really deserving of the spot? No. Timing is everything. Don't believe that? Ask Nico Harrison. He's on the way out. All right, Dart had 4 concussions already. That's ridiculous. Giants damaged the kid already. Well, I think that's why they fired Dayball, because they're running the ball too much with the quarterback. And then every time you go in the concussion check, you want to run in there and see how he's doing. Well, hell, what he was trying to do is save his job. He don't give a damn about Jackson Dart. But Jackson Dart, he's got to care about himself. They've been telling him when you run, you got to get out, man. He's got a whole history of the NFL to show you that you need to get down. I know it's all soft and cuddly now because you can't really hit a quarterback, but all that sliding they doing, you know how many times I've seen Singletary put a shoulder on the sliding quarterback, knock him slap out. Ask Steve Pallua, he'll tell you. So this old soft stuff, and he getting hurt now. I mean, just imagine if they take the training wheels off the defense. You really have some players getting hurt. And I think that they probably should have fired Dayball, but I would have waited to the end of the year. Maybe Jackson Dart wouldn't have made it to the end of the year if he hadn't got fired. So we'll see what the interim coach does now. But I don't know if you think a coach is not going to be able to do the job, don't even let him come back at the beginning of the year. Why let a coach on the hot seat come back the next year just to fire him 2 or 3 games in? It don't make a whole lot of sense to me. All right. My holy king, you always make it there but lose. Well, you'll be okay. At some point, you guys will win a championship. Certain cities just got championship magic. Baltimore is one of them. They'll win again at some point. Every sports team that ever pretty much come through Baltimore is one. You got the Baltimore Stars. You got the Baltimore, what do they call them? The Washington Bullets. And I think they moved from Baltimore to Washington. Then you have the Colts, the Orioles, and now the Ravens got a damn championship. So every team that I know of, professional, that come through Baltimore has won championships. Chiefs will miss the year. They can't go every year. No, I'm not saying that they go into the Super Bowl. I think you're going to have a new participant. I had thought that the AFC was going to go through Allegheny County, but the way they look Monday night, they got a whole lot of work to do. They got problems. But what else? Giants will tank till the end of the season. No, they're still going to play hard because these guys are anything you put on tape, other teams can see it. And you might not make it with the Giants, but you can make it with somewhere else. And if you're showing that you are a dog kind of player when it comes to contract time, you're going to have problems collecting because you already showed that when things don't go right, you're going to tank it. So I don't think the Giants are going to tank, and not that bad of a team. It's just that they got a few holes they got to fix. It's a small difference between the top team in the league and the worst team. And Giants will bounce back. They'll be okay. They're going to get a couple upsets this year and ruin it for somebody else. So we'll see how that goes. All right. I got to get up out of here, man. The horn blew, so I got to go. But let me check on this poll again. Right now, we're 50-50. Half of you saying that Nico shouldn't have been fired. Well, I think his timing is bad, and they're going to boo you every time you come into the arena, and the fans come to the game just to boo you. It makes for a toxic environment for your players. It's not a home field advantage, home court advantage if your own fans are booing you right from the gate. They won't let it go. I know the Lakers off to a good start, but who's to say that Luka won't get hurt? He's not invincible. He's just younger than Davis. But 8-3 to 3-8, that's not much of a difference. And it's going to tell as we start getting later to the season, and maybe even next year, in time, who won the trade. But right now, with Davis hurt and Kyrie Irving hurt, timing just wasn't in the cards for Harrison. They need just to shuffle the deck and go somewhere else, but it'll be fine. He's going to take his buyout like all these other fired coaches get, and he's going to be straight. You're gonna have a good Christmas. You don't have to get on the road and have to go listen to all that booing anymore. He's straight. So that's in the end, that's what it's all about, being straight. So anyway, you guys have a good day. Well, Mike McCarthy is all right. I don't know. He probably, these guys look for certain things. So he'll surface somewhere. He took the year off. He'll bounce back if he wants to coach, but he might get up there and say, man, the hell with that. I got enough money where I need to put myself in that situation again. So McCarthy, if he does come back, it'll just be one last time, one last run for him. That'll be it for McCarthy. But Holy King, peace out to you. Appreciate you stopping by. Rest of you guys, Jihad, hadn't seen you in a while. JC, Selmo, I'll catch you guys on the flip side, man. Some breaking news. Come back with it today. If not, I'll catch you in the morning. We need to talk about these college football playoff rankings. So wherever you are in the world, have a great day. I got to get up out of here. So I'm out.